2, 3 miles. Okay, goddamn, I'm getting to it. What's going on, people? What is going on, people? As you already know, this is usually the day for What's the Word, Dirty Bird? But thanks to the minister, y'all getting the heavy hitters today. If you didn't know already, now you already know. I'm your man, Six Man K Styles, and the one that got the demon child with the holy water up there. We're gonna wait till he come back. But as you already see down here, this is his day, Mr. Jew Talk Sports, the minister. And as Mike ass come back from whatever the hell he about to do,
beating my little nephew ass. Oh damn! Excuse me. I'm sorry.
well, as you already know, that is the mad scientist himself, Mad Mike Sports. Hey man, fellas, it's been a while since you got the terrible threesome here together. How y'all doing?
Chilling, bro.
Okay, because as you know, I call this we are the hot, the cool, and the vicious. You already know who the vicious one out of all three of us.
Oh, really?
Exactly. So, hey, we got to start this off right. We got to hit y'all with that
Real.
roll call, sponsored by High Quality H2O. And hold on, we got. Hey, look, Mike, Drew. I think one of y'all might have a new member. Let's give the shout out. Pick up the pieces.
Yo.
You got Andrew G is a new member. Definitely appreciate you on that one. Making sure y'all show some love. So today's roll call is going to be with Floyd Donnelly. We got Joseph Thornton. We got one of our homies, 1/13 of the Unholy Alliance, Cookie by Nature, Jarvis Williams. I was about to say Javars Creed. I was about to say, wait a minute. Nah, I was just watching something on there before the show started. Like, I remember he pulled that gun out. Like, that's Jarvis Williams.
Oh my God, really?
We got Dwight Thomas. We got Brian Peoples. D. Coleman, YMOF Jamal. We got Tadra Davis, Norman Fitzgerald, Nathan Floyd. We got Bubba Gump, Pat Norris, Prove It. We got the other member, that Michael Walker, not that Michael Walker. And we're going to end it with a few more. We got The King. We got Melvin Emery, Brian Peoples, and our little brother, ATM 534. Hey man, what is going on, y'all? What do we have in store for the people here tonight, man? Hey, Brian Peoples, appreciate that. Yeah, that intro was made by yours truly,
by
yours truly. But go ahead, Mike. What you got for us tonight?
I want to get into something really fast, and I'm going to try to go as fast as I possibly can. And one of the things that I think is instrumental and vital to success, and we're talking about winning championships. Been doing a little facts, stats, and a little truth. Searching for the facts, stats, and the truth. And something that I come up with is three teams. We're talking about the Baltimore Ravens of 2000, the 2007 New York Giants, and just for this sake, the current Super Bowl champions. I don't know why I want to say the Las Vegas Rams, but the Los Angeles Rams. Something interesting that I came up with, And you go back to those three teams. All right, we're gonna start with the Giants. The Giants have 53 sacks, and the reason why I chose sacks right off the bat is that team had 53 sacks. The Baltimore Ravens 35 in 2000 was regarded as the greatest defense of all time. And the Rams of 2021, those guys had 50 sacks. And I look for commonalities with those teams. And one thing that I come up with is two of those teams had one thing in common, and that was running the ball. The Giants were 8th in run defense, 4th in rushing offense. The Baltimore Ravens were 1st in rush defense and 5th. Oh, excuse me. First in run, and 5th in run defense. All right. So when it all comes down to it, you can go look at the Rams. Even the Rams didn't necessarily have they were they were actually a top 10 run defense. And they didn't necessarily have a very good, I think they was like top below 15 as far as the run offense concerned. So what I've seen with those three teams, they had one thing in common, all right? Ball control. And ball control is how you keep the ball, obviously keep the ball out of your opponent's hand. But when you look at as far as the Rams is concerned, the Rams team, the reason why I picked the Rams team is because it's the new wave of the NFL. Not often you're going to be able, they don't put a lot of emphasis on running the ball in this current NFL. The new way to create that balance is obviously using that short, intermediate passing game to keep the defense off balance. So when it all comes down to it, all three of those teams did two things well. They stopped the run and they had balance. The Rams use Cooper Kupp, Odell Beckham, I forget the tight end name, but they use those guys as a way to keep the clock running and keep their defense off the field. Baltimore, the same thing. They had Jamal Lewis. They had that great defensive line, Sam Adams, Tony Siragusa. Those guys obviously had Ray Lewis. You look at that Giants. The Giants had their front four, but they also had Brandon Jacobs, and they ran for almost 2,000. Well, they ran over 2,000 rushing yards. One thing that when we look at those teams, with the exception of one team, those two defenses didn't have great quarterbacks. Eli Manning at the time, he was having one of his worst seasons as a quarterback, 2007. Baltimore, Tony Banks started the season. This is something that I totally forgot about. Tony Banks actually started the season. He lost his job to Trent Dilfer, and the team still went 12-4. So why do I bring that up? Well, the Falcons right now, all of the whispers and everybody want to draft the big time quarterback, but we got three teams. Is Matthew Stafford a great quarterback? Not at this point in his career. I don't think he's a great quarterback. I think he's just good enough to get the job done. You look at the Baltimore Ravens team. Nobody would say Tony Banks and Trent Dilfer are very good. Eli Manning, there was a question whether or not he's a Hall of Famer. So this is proof that you don't necessarily need a Hall of Fame quarterback to be successful, which brings us to the draft. And Case, I think you can kind of pick over this, but that right there is something, again, we all about the fastest stats and the truth. And again, those are three teams. When we talk about elite quarterbacks, they won championships with elite team play. Baltimore, they had great run, stop, a running offense, and they had great special teams. The same thing with the Giants. Even the Rams, great special teams, good offense, great defense. All of that as a team played. So, like I said, man, I know a lot of people want the next great, whether it's Michael Vick or Matt Ryan. You don't necessarily need that to be a successful team.
Hey, you left off one team too as well.
Mm-hmm.
That 2017-2018 Philadelphia Eagle team.
K-Styles win the same vein, bro. I was getting ready to say the same thing, bro. That team, and like I was thinking about the NFC Championship game. You had Nick Foles going up against who's the Vikings quarterback at the time? Case Keenum. I think it's who they played in the NFC Championship game, which both teams really didn't have good quarterbacks. Case Keenum and Nick Foles. You know where that was the matchup in the NFC Championship game. So two teams with really good defenses and good running game. So
So what is Mike saying here is the recipe to win consistently: running the damn ball. Yes, I said that again. Running the damn ball, which is ball control, and stopping the run. See, what a lot of people is, and I want to let Drew get his take here in a couple. I just want to get this out the way. Now, the reason why he brought that up is if you think about what the running game brings to football, it's the tone setter side of the game. Mm-hmm. That's how you set tones in these football games, is by running the ball and stopping the run. The Atlanta Falcons ain't even sniffed mid-level rush defense since 2017.
Right.
When Dontari Poe, the last time the Atlanta Falcons run defense was worth a damn was when Dontari Poe was here.
And Rashid Hageman.
Yep. Yep. Why do you think so many teams went for it on 4th and 1, 4th and 2 against the Falcons the last 3 years?
Yeah.
That the trenches, and Drew loves the trenches. I love the trenches. I'm a trench guy too. You set the tone, you set a foundation, you set a mindset by that. Would I draft a quarterback? I wouldn't even touch a quarterback for the next 3 years, to be honest with you. I don't give a damn about bringing in the hottest quarterback. I want to see somebody get knocked on their ass. We're just going to say that. Well, when that song said throw that ass in the circle, somebody need to throw that ass in the stand. That's what I want to see.
Throw that ass in the stands.
Throw that ass in the stand. Whoop. Throw that ass in the stand. And I'm not touching no wide receiver with that 8th overall pick neither. You're not setting the tone. You're essentially going to be doing the same exact thing the previous regime did with that. If y'all want this to be a different regime, and I know everybody talk about Kyle Pitts last year and stuff like that. We get that. We say, okay, they drafted Kyle Pitts 4th overall. Why not draft a wide receiver 8? You want to get some of the best defensive talent with that 8th pick. Will they get a wide receiver? Oh yeah. Just don't know when. Go ahead, Drew.
Well, y'all both hit on it. Like you said, it all starts in the trenches. I mean, At the end of the day, what kills prissy football is tough football. Moving another man against his will, winning in the trenches.
Look. That stanky football right there.
Stanky football.
That stanky football.
Yeah, I mean that's to be honest. Like we're naming all of those different teams that had, good running games, good defenses. We can point to the playoffs last year. Let's be real. The 49ers should have been in the Super Bowl. If Jaquiski Tartt catches that interception that basically it at his chest, hit him right in the chest, that game is over. Like they led pretty much the whole game. So we seen them go up against the Cowboys with 3 good. Go ahead, K-Style.
What did that drop interception remind you of?
Don't remind me. Don't remind. Look, don't remind.
No. I'm not even talking about that. I'm talking about the very next year in the playoffs. Keanu Neal dropped. I know where you're going.
Are you talking about Keanu Neal kicking the ball, jumping in the air?
That motherfucker karate kicked this. He did that Sagat tiger knee on that damn ball, boy. That thing was terrible. But go ahead, you. I just wanted to get that out the way.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, man. At the end of the day, you win. The game is won and lost in the trenches. And if you guys go and look at like some of the after shows we did, I talked about it in the after shows. I said, how do you end games? Because what do we have a problem with for the last since 2016? Closing games. That's been our problem. We get out to big leads and we can't hold on to the lead. And that's mainly because we couldn't finish games. And the way that you salt games away is being able to run the football. Like you were just talking about, K-Styles. What did it come down to a lot of the times last year? It would be 4th and 1, 4th and 2, and we need one stop. As we always talk about, got to be able to get that one stop to give the offense another chance, another crack at it. The team runs it right down our throat. Neil, the game is over. We talk about it. You got to be able to run the football. When you have the lead, the way that you keep Tom Brady from coming in and having a comeback win is keep him by on the sideline, by the Gatorade. We need to be on the other side of what teams have been doing to us. We need to do to them. We need to give them a taste of their own medicine. Most of the times when we go for it on 4th down, we're trying to throw the ball or we're doing some weird spread it out. We on the goal line. We got 5 receivers in the game, especially when Dirk Cutter was here. When it was short yardage downs, we spread out and then try to run the ball. We spread it out and try to throw the ball. So like y'all talked about, I wouldn't touch a quarterback either. I don't know about the next 3 years, Kay, but I would build this team. So however long it takes to build the supporting cast around Marcus Mariota, whoever the quarterback is, that's what I would do. Because Jimmy Garoppolo, Trey Lance, the 49ers have been looking for a quarterback for years. And they got to a Super Bowl with Jimmy Garoppolo, and they almost got to the Super Bowl last year. If you look at the teams that they played, they didn't match up like player for player. They should have lost to Dallas on paper. If you look at Dallas, you got CeeDee Lamb, you got Amari Cooper. Their team is loaded. You got Cedric Wilson, you got Dalton Schultz, and then in the backfield, you got Tony Pollard, you got Dak Prescott, you got Zeke Elliott, you got one of the best offensive lines in the game. But what stopped all of that prissy football? Deebo Samuel running the ball right down their throat. Bosa. Like that's what shuts all of that down. Fred Warner, a good defense will neutralize all of that prissy football. We seen it again in the Super Bowl. The Chiefs and the Bucks. That defensive line was all over Pat Mahomes. They couldn't block him. The Jason Pierre-Pauls. The Dominican. Yeah, I mean that's what it all comes down to. At the end of the day, defense wins championships. Bear Bryant said it best, and it's the truth. As much as we like to say that this is an offensive league and they changed the rules, if you have an unblockable defensive line or front seven, I don't care who you have at quarterback. And we said that numerous times. I seen Peyton Manning for years couldn't get over the hump in the playoffs because the Patriots had an elite defense. Had nothing to do with Tom Brady, to be completely honest about it. The Patriots always had a good defense and they always had a good running game. That's another thing that we overlook because they talk about Tom Brady all the time. If you look at those Patriots teams that in that dynasty, they had top 10 running game. They had the Corey Dillons. They had the Kevin Falks. They had all of those different guys, and they were one of the teams that I actually looked at when I talked about the Falcons adopting that mentality of not paying a running back, that you draft a running back every year. We see that with New England every single year. They're drafting a running back. They always have a stable of running backs because they know you got to be able to run the football. You got to be good in the trenches. You got to be able to stop the run. Another thing that New England always does is they always have those big guys up front, those nose tackles, whether it was Vince Wilfork, whether it was Richard Seymour, last season, Christian Barmore, a guy that I did a video that I went to Falcons draft. He was on that team last year. In that Thursday night game, he was wrecking havoc. That's what this Falcons team is missing. And that's why I really hope that we take Jordan Davis, and I'll leave it there. I really hope. I don't know if it's going to happen, fellas, because the Falcons have been known for not, valuing that pick. And I think that they might assume that number 8 is too high to take a Jordan Davis. But personally, I think it's he would knock it out the park if Terry Fontenot goes with him. Just like we knocked it out of the park last year with Kyle Pitts, I feel like Jordan Davis is a can't miss type of commodity. You can't miss with him. So I feel like he's the guy. Like last year, how we said Kyle Pitts was the guy. I feel like Jordan Davis, hands down, he's the guy you're not going to be able to miss on. The Kevon Thibodeaux, the Aiden Hutchinsons, all these other guys, you're taking a risk. With Jordan Davis, to me, it's no risk. The only risk you have with a Jordan Davis is health. Other than health, you know what you're going to get out of him. He's 6'6", he's 300-something pounds. Just stand there and use your strength all day, pushing people around like ragdoll. It's that easy. Right. It's no prissy. It's no technique involved other than throwing people out the club.
What say do the Uncle Phil on them?
Yeah. It don't take a whole bunch of technique. When you that big and you that imposing, it's like when you go out to that field and you see that kid that they checking his birth certificate because he's bigger than everybody. He look like he a grown man out there. That's Jordan Davis.
We just had that happen. You just said it with Christian Barmore, and you got Vita Vea. That's what happened. How they beat us. That's how Pittsburgh, but that's how the Bucks as well as
the Patriots
beat us because they just was more physical in the middle of the middle of the trenches. So when you talk about whether or not that's a value pick, that's a value pick. He's definitely a value pick. The reason why I say a lot of people may not say that he isn't a value pick, but they're looking for guys they're gonna step out and get you 10 touchdowns and 1,500 yards and all that type of stuff. They don't value the trenches, the dirty work. When it comes down to it, this is something that I said also. There's only 2 positions in the league. I'll say 6 positions in the league that really, for the most part, play almost every snap. That's the offensive line and the quarterback. That's it. So those are vital. So if you get a defensive tackle who can wear down the offensive lineman, it makes everybody else's job that much easier. You don't have to worry about. Look, I'm just going to be honest. Have y'all look? My brother's 6'7". All right. Normally, I can sit in the front seat. Okay. But when someone else is driving and he's in the passenger seat, I can't sit. If I sit behind him, I'm already 6'3". He's tall. You can't see in front of them big 6'6", 2. Come on, bro. So imagine if this guy is in the middle of the defense, the middle of the offense, and you got a quarterback as short as Kyler Murray trying to see. Oh, Jordan Davis have to do this. That forces them to either look over him or pass it outside, and the defense got the advantage. Why? Because we know you're not going to try to throw over Jordan Davis. The dude's 6'6", 340-something pounds. A lot of times, offensive linemen can't take that pressure the entire game. So it'll come down to the second, third quarter, man, he don't wore those guys out. And now you got Grady Jarrett you got Taquan Graham, you got these guys, Vincent Taylor coming in, and they can just use their athleticism, drive them crazy. That's the beauty of having a Christian Barmore, a Brandon Williams, and a Jordan Davis. This is why you got three guys right off the rip on the defensive side of the ball for Georgia right now. All those guys are quote unquote first round picks. Nakobe Dean, all those guys are first round picks. Why? What's the common denominator with those? Jordan Davis. He allowed those guys to do what they do best, and that's rush the passer. And this is why I say, when you talk about value, that's the most valuable thing. Even go back to the Saints. The Saints, when they decided to invest in the trenches and get those defensive tackles, I still Anya. How you say his name? Anya Mata. Like, come on. When they started investing into those guys, that's when their defenses started improving. It's not a brain. It's not brain science. It's right there before our eyes. But we so focused on getting guys like Kayvon Thibodeau, Jermaine Johnson, and I love Jermaine. I'll be happy if we got him. But it's proven that these nose tackles, it works. Go back to 2017 when we brought in Dontari Poe. What happened? The defense immediately got better, and we did the idiotic thing to let him walk. It's proven, people. So, look,
it's the reason why the Saints give Tom Brady so much problems. It's because of that defensive line and that front seven. We literally seen Tom Brady score no points against a team that didn't have a quarterback. We talk about teams that don't have a quarterback. We can look at our division rivals. They had literally Taysom Hill, Ian Book, no quarterback, and they held Tom Brady to 0 points in the game. And I think since he's been in the division, I think he's like 0-4 in the regular season against them. Mm-hmm. He beat them in the playoffs, but every time he faces the Saints, they're his kryptonite, and it's because of that defensive line, those big boys up front.
You said the key thing too. That pressure up the middle.
Up the middle. There's no pocket to step into. And Tom Brady ain't running nowhere.
and let's be honest. Kyler Murray couldn't throw over Elvis Dumerville. Let's just be honest on that.
Wow. Oh, man.
Well, you put Maurice Jones-Drew at defensive tackle. Kyler Murray ain't throwing over that. But as you said, man, and you said something interesting too, Mike. I want to kind of tiptoe on that. You said, I don't know, he didn't really say it here, but when we was talking about it is, do we value the sack numbers or do we value stopping the run? Because you said the key thing. You said that Baltimore Ravens team, which is considered one of the greatest teams of all times, only had 35 sacks.
That's average.
On average, right. We ain't even got to go back that far.
Oh,
like you said.
The team before that, even the year, I believe it was either after, but they had like 14 sacks. Even that, and they were still a great defense. So the Baltimore Ravens haven't always been a good sack team. They did again. They ran the ball and they played great run defense.
So like we have to definitely take account of that. As us fans, we also have to look at it as well as, do you want the greater show? Do you want a new identity or do you want the same identity just with different faces? Because the same identity has not been winning football games. Even we will admit that. Throwing the ball 60, 70% of the time every season ain't winning football games. Being one of the worst defenses in NFL history for the last 4 years ain't helping.
Got our quarterback traded.
And the thing is, if you look at the Falcons stats last year, they weren't impressive like that. This defense was 18th in the league in yards per game. They gave up 236 yards a game in the air.
Mm-hmm.
They gave up 131 yards on the ground, though.
It's not
that's like
rocket science.
That's like you in a boxing match and the haymaker doesn't get you, but the body shots get your ass. That's exactly what running the ball is. Running the ball is body shots all day. And you hit somebody in the ribs enough, they can't breathe. Why do you think UFC fighters? Why do you think they be kicking them legs like that? Because you kick them legs long enough, you can't stand on that leg. But hey, you got a new member, Dwight Thomas. Hey. Pick up the pieces.
Thank you, Dwight.
Appreciate you, Dwight. And we appreciate everybody tuning in with us too. Now, like I said, y'all make sure y'all go ahead and continue to subscribe to Mad Mike Sports, Jew Talk Sports, and 6-Man K Styles. On the road to 1K myself, Jew on the road to 2K, Mike is on the road to 7K, and we doing the damn thing.
I appreciate you saying that, K Styles, because I wanted to mention I'm 5 away from 1,700. So,
what?
Dang. Nice.
So, nice. Yeah, man. We on our road. We making our way.
Nice. Y'all got me playing catch up and shit. That's all right. I'll be there.
I want to say
I'll be there soon. I'll be there soon, goddamn it.
I want to imagine. I need 8 more subscribers so I can say I'm officially a 69er. Okay, so yeah, just had to go.
69, really?
Yeah, 8 subscribers.
Man, don't let the minister come up here and get and splash you with some holy water over here, man.
I got it too.
So yeah.
Right.
I had to say that real quick.
And we got a $2 super chat from Fred Buzz. He said, "Running the ball every play is not going to win." You're right. It's not going to win. It's not going. Well, I know. I'm a Georgia Tech fan. We did it for damn near 18 years. It ain't going to win games.
Balance.
But you got to have the balance, though. You got to be able to keep defenses guessing. That's just part of the game. You can't be 70% run and you can't be 70% pass. You could be 70% pass.
It's about 60-40. I think every offense wants to be around that 60-40 number, whether it's run, pass, but you have to have balance. And that's something, if you go back and look at a lot of Dean P's, his press conference, he made mention of this, but one thing the Falcons aim to do is I'll say one thing, and that's win third downs. Got to get off the field on third downs, and you got to be able to, on the offense, they have to convert on third down. So you win third downs, it doesn't matter if you're 60-40 pass or 60-40 run. You got to be able to convert and stop teams on third downs. That's how you win championships, and that's what we're talking about. When it comes down to it, like, let's just keep it real. Football is about physicality.
All right, Drew, I'll let you go ahead and get this. Let you go ahead and get this super chat, Drew.
All right. So shout outs to D Sloan. He says, fellas, what is y'all final 8th round overall pick mock selection? I think everybody on the panel here is gonna say Jordan Davis. I mean, that's who I would take. But I'm not opposed to an edge rusher either, depending on who falls. You know what I'm saying? Whoever falls at to the 8th spot, because I don't know if Kevon Thibodeau will still be on on the board. Jermaine Johnson, you never know who will be there at 8. But the number one guy I'm going with is Jordan Davis. I also wouldn't be opposed to the Falcons taking an offensive lineman. Like if some way Ike Ekwonu falls, I think you have to take him out of North Carolina State because he's one of those guys that's like a Quentin Nelson. He can play multiple positions, and he's kind of like a Jordan Davis of the offensive lineman as far as his size, his physicality. And if you want to be a team that's going to run the football, you got to be nasty in the trenches. And that's on both sides of the ball, even on the offensive line. So if you can get an Ike Ekwonu, I wouldn't be opposed to that. If the team decides to go wide receiver, y'all know that I'm a Drake London fan. I got a bromance for that dude. I think he's a beast. I think he would fit this, this offensive scheme perfect. Him and Kyle Pitts will be a nightmare. It'll be similar to what I said when we had Julio. Personally, I don't want to go with a wide receiver at 8, but if they decide that they're going to go wide receiver, I wouldn't go with the Ohio State wide receiver they keep talking about, Wilson. I think the kid is really good, but you have a player in Calvin Ridley that people keep forgetting about. Like Calvin Ridley's still an Atlanta Falcon, even though he's suspended. So I don't want another receiver that's just a great route runner, but it's a finesse type wide receiver because we already have that. I feel like if you're going to take a wide receiver, you go with the guy that's a physical specimen like a Kyle Pitts, that's like a generational talent, and a guy that you can throw the ball anywhere on the field. Like we said with Kyle Pitts, we've seen how many one-handed catches Kyle Pitts made last year. You just put the ball in his vicinity, he going to come down with it. And that's the same thing I say about Drake London. I haven't seen a wide receiver in this draft when I looked at tape that competes like he competes. You put the ball up, which we all know that Marcus Mariota is not the most accurate quarterback. You put the ball up anywhere in the vicinity, Drake London is a guy that's going to, come down with it. But personally, I'll take Jordan Davis. If he's there, I say go with him because he's that force multiplier that I always talk about. He's going to make everybody around him better. And I can't necessarily say that for a wide receiver necessarily. And we know that our defense, we've struggled. That's been our Achilles heel. So I feel like we keep going offense every single year. I feel like at this point, we have to address the defense at some point. And that's the reason why I kind of don't want to go offensive line because how many number one first rounders we have on our offensive line already? You got Jake Matthews. You got Caleb McGarry. You got Chris Lindstrom. That's 3 out of the 5 guys up front that were first rounders. At some point, you got to learn how to develop these guys. So I'll say Jordan Davis would be the guy because I don't think we have, if you guys correct me if I'm wrong, do we have any first rounders on our defensive line right now? I know Grady wasn't a first rounder. I know the guy we brought in, Carter, he wasn't a first rounder. No. I know Ogundeji wasn't a first rounder. John Kaminsky wasn't a first rounder. I think Marlon Davidson was a second rounder, if I'm not mistaken. So we don't really have that blue chip talent other than Grady. Like Grady was just one of those guys that just dropped in the draft. Like he was a diamond in the rough, but we really don't have that blue chip. And that's why I say we got to value the defensive line. And what that means is taking one of these defensive linemen in the first round. That's what, when you're showing that you value that pick, you take the best guy. And I seen Mike a couple shows ago going off about this when he says, I don't want the 3rd, the 4th, the 5th, the 6th best defensive lineman. Get the best guy available. Best guy available is Jordan Davis.
Which kind of goes against what a lot of people would say they want the best player available. But we got a $9.99 super chat. $9.99 from ATL Joe. Go ahead, Mike. I'll let you go ahead and get this one, man.
Would you guys agree that the recipe to success these days is to build your team, especially defense, enough to attract a superstar quarterback, i.e. Colts, Browns, Broncos, Rams? Love the channel, rise up. Appreciate it. First of all, I want to say this. It's not so much that you want to attract a quarterback. First of all, the quarterback just suck. And they just suck. Just first and foremost. They just aren't very good. And it just takes time for coaches to figure out, all right, your quarterback sucks. It's been there, and it's not a lot of these quarterbacks' fault. I've said it before. The reason why quarterbacks suck is because they're not being prepared for the NFL because they're running this RPO offense where it's all right. What the coach want to do? They look to the sideline, and every offense does this. It goes back to Georgia. All the big schools they want complete control over their players. They don't want their quarterbacks to learn how to be a quarterback, and this is why if you have an opportunity as a player, go to this, Peyton Manning camps. They're going to teach you how to be quarterbacks. If you're going to be a quarterback, go to the Peyton Manning School of Hard Knocks, so to speak. I forgot the name of it, but that's the reason why. So as far as like building the defense, that's always been the recipe for success. It's just a lot of these quarterbacks suck, and by the time you realize that, I mean, guys like Matt Ryan, Matt Stafford, they come a bit more valuable when you got teams that actually. So again, I blame it on the college. These college coaches, they're not developing these quarterbacks properly.
Right. Hey, I definitely agree on that, man. Shoot. That's why I said, damn that quarterback. Damn the quarterback. But like I said, I can deal with Marcus Mariota for 2 seasons. I can deal with that.
Right.
He ain't old.
Right.
He ain't great, but he's not old.
Mm-hmm.
And K Styles, another thing, and I don't know if you were done. I didn't mean to cut you off.
Nah,
but another thing that we're not looking at is, what if Marcus Mariota actually comes in here and plays well, and then you have taken a quarterback, then you stuck in that same situation we talked about with Green Bay, with Jordan Love. You're stuck in the same situation as the 49ers with Trey Lance. Because let's be real, Jimmy Garoppolo, I'm not a fan of Jimmy Garoppolo, but he's playing winning football. Like, he did enough to get them to the NFC Championship game. So with a guy like Trey Lance, was that the right pick? With them trading up to get him, and he's not ready to play, and you still have Jimmy Garoppolo, they holding on to him because he's a quality enough quarterback to win you a Super Bowl. And that's what we keep saying. Like, you don't have to have the best or a top 10 quarterback to win a Super Bowl. You just have to have a complete team. You just have to have a balanced team. And that's something that Jimmy Garoppolo has showed over the years. We all know that Jimmy Garoppolo isn't great, but with a great defense, with weapons around him, probably every quarterback he faced, he wasn't better than. I consider Dak Prescott better than him. If I had to choose a quarterback, I definitely think that Aaron Rodgers is better than him. So, and I think that Matthew Stafford is better than him. And he played pretty much outplayed all of those guys. Well, his team outplayed all of those guys. So that just goes to show you, as much as we say it's a quarterback-driven league, every time we watch, if you just, as we say, do the eye test and actually watch the games, it's proven every single year that just having a great quarterback means nothing. Aaron Rodgers has only played in 1 Super Bowl. I think we can all agree that Aaron Rodgers is elite. He's one of the best quarterbacks of all time, has one of the greatest arm talents of all time, but he hasn't consistently had a great defense around him, and he hasn't had those ancillary pieces around him to be successful. So it doesn't matter at the end of the day. Even if one of these quarterbacks does turn out to be great, we just seen it with Russell Wilson. What happened when they lost that defense in Seattle? How many Super Bowls has he been back to?
He was over there listening to Sierra CDs and shit, talking about round here we riding slow. But Drew, you just said something here, and I got a question to ask. Since you said that, and Mike, I want you to answer this too. So what y'all are telling me is the quarterback is only as good as the players around him?
I believe so. Like I said, that was the whole basis on doing that research earlier today because, again, the quarterbacks that we were like at the time, Eli was not elite. He was far from elite in 2007. I think he like led the league in interceptions or something like that. So like he wasn't very good. He was good, but we talking about elite quarterback. I wasn't elite. And again, I don't think anybody would ever equate Tony Banks and Trent Dilfer in a Super Bowl year as great quarterbacks. And then we go to Matt Stafford. Is Matt Stafford elite? I think he's very good. He was good enough. I mean, look. Let's be honest. Matt Stafford almost cost him the Super Bowl as well as the NFC. So by throwing a lot of bad passes and bad interceptions.
Oh, God.
So it's like,
God. Don't remind Vernon Hargreaves. I still got a bone to pick with you about that.
Oh yes.
How the hell does your defense make a good play and then you fuck the offense up over some Nike slides? I'm still trying to remember
that. Yeah. Oh my God, that was awful. That was bad. That was bad. Teams mean everything, man. We lost a lot of games last year with the Falcons when we talk about special teams and our inability to not only get past the 25, but punting the ball. We was terrible with punting, and that's why we had to bring in Morstead, kind of help solidify. And our defense steadily and got better. We still had issues, stopping the run for the most part, because for whatever reason, and I get it. Route 96, he wasn't very good, and Anthony Rush is still getting acquainted and getting his win on it because those guys, Pennell and Rush, they didn't go to training camp. They came in, they weren't physically ready for the grind of the season, so those guys were still trying to catch their win and whatnot. And again, that's a new defense for them. That's a totally different philosophy. So I'm like this year, I got high hopes for a guy like Anthony Rush. But at the end of the day, balance. When it comes down to champions, the reason why teams like San Francisco good, they ran the ball well, they played solid defense, they got off the field on third down, they converted on third down, and Jimmy G, for the most part, didn't throw a lot of interceptions, and even when he threw interception, and this is something that we had a conversation in the chat. I feel like even if you're an interception, your defense still got to be able to, pick up the offense. You got to pick up your teammates. If you get a mistake, all right, it's all right, Drew. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's all right, Drew. I got you on this, and we get a stop. Kim threw an interception.
Exactly.
He turned it to 96. Guess what? Don't worry about it. I'm about to run his ball for 90 yards on the kickoff. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's how you pick up your team. And this is why I had a debate earlier. We had the debate earlier. Don't matter if the offense made mistakes. You still had an opportunity to get a stop when it mattered most, and the defense didn't do that. Special teams didn't do that. You got to have a collective where everybody picks up, because there's going to be mistakes. You can't expect players to be perfect. And that's why you have, you go back to that Baltimore Ravens, nobody remembers the special teams. Nobody say anything about their special teams. It's one of the greatest special teams I've ever seen assemble, that Baltimore Ravens team. Everything worked well together. It had perfect chemistry.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, we getting into that. Let's go ahead and get to where everybody's here. Let's get into the main event. The main event of tonight's show is
boy.
Should the Atlanta Falcons be the favorites to get Deebo Samuel? As a lot of people know or have heard, there is a lot of brouhaha over in La La Land in the San Fran Bay. That's a tongue twister for your ass, but
I was gonna try to say
that. As we already know that when this news came out, you already knew there was gonna be we should get Deebo Samuel. Oh, he will fit perfectly with this, that, and this, that, and this, that, this, that, this, that. Shut your mouth, jabroni. But what do y'all feel about that?
I wouldn't do it. Even though he fits the team perfect, I wouldn't do it. The reason I wouldn't do it is because we have, like I said, if you're gonna do that, you might as well just take one of these wide receivers in this draft. I'd rather just go ahead and have a rookie on that rookie scale than to break the bank and to get any of these wide receivers. Because we know all of these wide receivers are trying to be the next man up to break. The Tyreek Hill just got paid. Stephon Diggs just got paid. Dang on Christian Kirk got paid. Like, he started it off with getting that big contract where he really didn't deserve it. So it's just like, as much as I like Deebo Samuel, I'm not paying a wide back, as he called himself, to be number one receiver money. I'm sorry. I'm just not doing it. To me, we have a Deebo Samuel on our team, and that's Cordell Patterson, and we got him at a value price. So why go out and get another guy that does the exact same things? You guys know how I feel about having players that do the same exact stuff, being repetitive. I wouldn't do it just because I know that he's trying to break the bank. I get why he's doing it, and I don't think that he's a diva. Deebo Samuel, from what I'm hearing, he's only going to make like $4 million next year because he's still on his rookie contract. And we've heard Mike say it numerous times with Kyle Shanahan. He runs his star players in the ground. They using him as a running back, wide receiver. He's touching the ball a lot. So personally, I wouldn't pay him just for the mere fact that I think you can do better with your money. And that's what you said earlier, K-Styles, during the show about we don't want to make the same mistakes that Thomas Dimitroff made with Terry Fontenot. Mm-hmm. I feel like you can divvy out this money better. If you look at the Rams, the way that they're divvying out that money, they're doing a good job of divvying out that money. And I think we need to build this defense. Let's just be real. We need to build the defense. I wouldn't pay DK Metcalf. I wouldn't pay none of these guys unless it's next year when we got that $100 million. I'm not trading picks because right now we go after Deebo. We all know that we don't have any money. So we would have to give them some of our top draft picks. And I'm not doing that. I'm not giving up assets. And at this point, to be honest, I don't know why the 49ers are like fighting so hard to hold on to him because they've already wasted draft picks like the Trey Lance. So they really need to make up. So they're going to be looking for like a couple first round picks, or at least one first round pick and probably some second round picks this year if you try to trade for them. And I just personally don't think that Deebo Samuel necessarily, to me, he's not a number one wide receiver. So what role is he going to play on this Falcons team is what I have. Like, if you bring him in, you're kind of taking CP's role and lessening his role even more. So I'm like, I really don't understand why you would go get a Deebo because he's pretty much the same player as CP. And to be honest, I might just be biased because he's a Falcon, but to me, CP is right there with him. Like, they neck and neck. If you look at their stats last year, CP led our team in touchdowns, like 11 touchdowns last year. So I'm not paying Deebo. He's worth what he wants, but I'm not paying him that kind of money. To be honest, if we were going to get a veteran, I like the DK Metcalfs and even AJ Brown over. Like, if you said we're getting a veteran wide receiver, I would take DK or AJ over Deebo because they're legitimate wide receivers. That can run routes, can line up outside. Deebo has never done that. He's just an athlete. He's just an offensive weapon. He's not necessarily a wide receiver. So I'm not giving him the money he's looking for. I know he's seen these other guys get paid, but what he got to realize is you're not those other guys that you're seeing. You're not the Stephon Diggs. You're putting up numbers like them, but you don't play the game the same way. You don't impact the game the same way that those guys do.
You snaky with his business. He just said
exactly. He said, "You ain't shit." That's basically what he just said. he said, "Deebo Samuel ain't shit."
Hey, look, man, no disrespect. Hey, look, y'all
no
know,
yeah.
no disrespect, but I guess I did probably take a dump on his lawn, but hey, no disrespect, but hey, it is what it is. It's the truth. It's just like CP. Before CP came to Atlanta, what was CP? Was CP the CP of last year? Let's be real.
No, he was just Cordero Patterson.
He was just Cordero Patterson. That's it.
He was just Cordero. But nah, I'm not really a fan of. I wouldn't be a fan of this only because how many of these draft picks you got to give up? Not only how many of these draft picks you got to give up, that quote unquote cap space that everybody's proud of, kiss most of that goodbye. Because the market for a wide receiver is going to take up 60, 70% of that cap next year. We've already went through a period where we was complaining about folks getting paid here and holding other players back and holding the team back from that $140 million for one wide receiver. You can pay that in 5 or 6 players right there.
What we give CP K Styles 10 mil for 2 years or something
10
like
mil
that?
for 2 years.
Right. So I'm like, but you gotta look at it for what it is. Like, is he that much better than CP? Like, let's be real.
Right. I think what Deebo has on CP is youth. He got the youth on his side.
Right.
But yeah, like I said, think about how much you got to give up for him. And think about this, and I want y'all to actually think about this too. It has just dawned on me. This is the 3rd time this offseason that we're essentially going through this same damn situation where we're got national media folks talking about the Falcons trading away draft picks for guys that you're going to have to pay after next year. Where this entire NFL draft, the strength of this year's draft is the Falcons' biggest weakness the last 4 years. So you'll essentially be trading for, and like I said, last year you could say, well, wide receiver was a weakness. It ain't as big as a weakness as what this defense has been the last 3 or 4 years. If I'm going to get me a wide receiver, you got plenty of wide receivers you can get in this draft that can do what Deebo does. Well, not exactly what Deebo does, but give you production. Like you said, you got Drake London. I saw Noah say it up here earlier. If you want a receiver like that, you might as well just get Traylon Burke.
Right.
You got George Pickens out here. You got David Bell. You got Romeo Dobbs. You got Christian Watson out here. Like Jalen Tolbert. You got a lot of good wide receivers you can get. And we need to kind of get away from trying to get these already used tires. I work in a tire warehouse, so I'm using tires as this reference. Right. I want some brand new shred. I don't want
less money.
Exactly. And the wide receiver does not need to be the focus because getting back to what we're saying about Jordan Davis, I need a guy that's going to impact the whole unit. Like I said, I love Deebo Samuel. I love his toughness. But no, I'm not giving up the draft capital.
I got a question for you, Kay. So if we say we wanted one of these veteran guys, who are you taking? Because if it's out of DK, AJ Brown, or Deebo, if they wanted to go after one of the veteran guys, who would you take out of those three guys?
Big play. Okay. If I wanted Dennis Rodman, I'd take DK Metcalf for the rainbow hair and shit. That's tough, man. That's a tough ass question. I'll probably go with AJ Brown only because Arthur Smith knows what AJ Brown brings to the table.
Right.
That would be the best option for him. DK, I don't know. I don't know, because when he doesn't get the ball, that motherfucker turns into Real Housewives of Atlanta when he don't touch that ball.
I'm not touching AJ and I'm not touching DK because both of those guys are better receivers than Deebo. I know I can get another Deebo. I know I can't get another DK or AJ. So I'm going with the less valuable because I like as much as Deebo thinks he is a Julio, he thinks he is a DK, he thinks he is AJ. He's not. That's not his. But he's perfect for what this offense is, and he's not going to cost us more. So I'm not touching AJ or DK for that reason, the reason alone. As far as Deebo is concerned, and whether or not I want him, personally, I would never touch Deebo because for me personally, it's not even the picks, it's not the money. It has everything to do with Kyle Shanahan. Every player that he always gets his hand on, he ruins, he destroys them guys in a year to 2 years' time. And I think Deebo at this point in time has just too much wear and tear on his body because he's been there for 3 years already. He's been there for 3 years already. That man's body is full up. Okay, let's just keep it real. It's messed up. You know why he's not going there because he tired as hell. That man ran up to the ground. Let's keep it real. Shanahan did it to everybody. Go ahead, K-Style.
George Kittle ain't been healthy in the last 3 seasons, has he?
Exactly my point. Exactly my point. I ain't touching him. That man did it to Julio. He did it to Muhammad. Everywhere he goes, he runs players down. From the quarterback, the running back, Tevin Coleman ain't been the same. Devontae Freeman ain't been the same. We got so many players. We can go on and on and on about George Kittle, Samuel. Like, come on, bro. That man wears down players. Offensive lineman, he wears those guys down. Why? Because he doesn't understand balance. He falls in love with players, and he calls the same play over and over and over and over and over, and he destroys these players' body. So I'm not doing it for the money, the picks. I just don't think Deebo is healthy, and he gonna pull a Julio, end up trying to get $80 million out of a team, and his body gonna break the fuck down, and he gonna. I ain't following that again. I ain't following that again, bro. I ain't following. Okay, no.
He said, I am not finna go down that shit show again.
No, I'm not put. Nope. I learned from Julio.
That's why I said if I need
a receiver. I learned from watching you.
Exactly. That's why I said if you're gonna get a receiver, I would rather you draft one. Because, like you said, what did you say, Mike? You can like I say, you can manipulate them to do whatever the fuck you want to do.
Yeah, you can do whatever you want to do. Come on, man.
Right. See, because the issue is with this draft class, a lot of people don't talk about this draft class is deep everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not finna take my hands out of it. I'm not finna take my hands out the pot of this draft just to get one player that I know that I have to pay within the next year or so. When I can get me one of these new juicy holes out here. Yeah. Yeah. Hold on, wait a minute. Hold on, wait a minute. No, but what I'm saying is, I can get me one of these new toys out here, and I ain't got to worry about trying to get a toy over here that got scratches and bullet hole wounds and all that stuff in it already.
No, right? Not doing it.
But yeah, man, I can't see the Falcons pulling this off. They'd invested too much this offseason alone on the wide receivers to bring in somebody that they're gonna have to pay big money for. Hey, that's all I gotta say on that. Let me see. Let's see. Get a couple questions. All right, people, y'all go ahead. Y'all leave y'all questions. We got about 10 more minutes. Y'all go ahead and start dropping some of them questions in here, man. Yeah, Brian Peoples here said Kyle also ruined Andre Johnson in Houston. Yeah, he started getting hurt like a motherfucker, too. He did it to Terrell Pryor. Terrell Pryor was supposed to break out. That's why Josh Gordon started smoking so much weed, because he had to deal with Kyle Shanahan there.
Right.
Speaking of weed, happy 420 to everybody.
420. Wow.
Exactly.
Wow.
Exactly. But yeah, man. Let's see. We got some. D. Coleman said Mike will make a toxic ass GM.
How the hell I want? I'll make a great GM because I ain't gonna put up with y'all bullshit. That's what GM's supposed to do. Not put up with bull crap.
Right.
Do it my way.
I'm thinking about my way. Let's see. Vlad here got a question. He said, "How would y'all feel if the Falcons?" And Jew kind of addressed this earlier because he said, "Iguanu, Icky, aka throw your ass in the second row." Yeah, yeah, him. I'm gonna throw a different name out here. I think if Icky's not there, I would say Evan Neal, Alabama. Like, he's strong, but I think he's really the most technically sound of the three. Cause his balance is motherfucking crazy. I don't like you can't go wrong with any one of these three, but if you want the most technically sound, I think Evan Neal may be the most technically sound that I would take. I mean, there's other offensive linemen in this draft I do like. I like Trevor Penning, but he still got some work to do, but he would throw your ass in the fifth row. That's offensive penalties all day right there. Like I said, Darian Kennard out of Kentucky, I like his game too. That's a third round guy. Maybe fourth, if you want to go that route. Just as long as their asses don't get Daniel Filet, because we don't need
right.
Daniel Filet, the 6'9", 400-pound great colleague.
It's taking the same thing. That man, that's exactly who he reminds me of. He's just big. It looks like he gonna fall.
That motherfucker damn near 6'10", 400 pounds. You really think he's gonna be? You know he can't block no pass rushers being that damn big. Ain't no way in hell. Hey, this was a rugby player. The fuck league was he playing in? The Titans? Mount Olympus rugby team, that motherfucker Zeus or some shit like that. I like, bro, how the fuck is you 6'10", 400 pounds playing rugby? I know ain't nobody tackled him. Ain't nobody would try to tackle that big motherfucker. I'll be taking them knees out. I'm like, man, fuck that. I'm taking them knees out. I'm just saying. Yeah, I see a lot of offensive line questions here, man. Oh yeah, Scotty Robinson said, yeah, Kyle ruined Taylor Gabriel too. You know what I'm saying? New drop here says, are you guys leaning towards best player available or best trade offered or trade back?
No, neither one. Whatever best for the team.
Whatever the fuck you going, whatever you do. As we say over here, we don't damn know. Just make sure it's on defense though. Just the defense, trenches, something. It damn show better. It damn show better not be corner neither, because we don't need that right now. You see what Denzel Ward just made? AJ Terrell's contract is right around the corner, and if he plays if he continues to play the way he just recently finished this season,
bring him out.
If you draft Ahmed Gardner, because I'm not calling no grown ass man sauce. I'm not calling him sauce.
No, I'm not doing it.
If you draft Ahmed Gardner, if you draft Ahmed Gardner, you might well kiss AJ Terrell goodbye. I'm just gonna say it right now. Kiss him goodbye. Kyle Hamilton, don't trust him. I don't. Look closely at the tape. I don't trust him. You can get that out of Sterling Weatherford. The same as that skill set. But let me see. We got some trade backs here. He said the most technically sound lineman is Tyler Linderbaum. I can see that.
Yeah, he the best center. I'll say that.
He's the best center.
Yeah, he the best center. I don't know about offensive lineman in the draft, but he's definitely the best center. Well, we don't need no center, so
right. We got two of them already.
Right. That's what I be saying. Like, how many we gonna draft? Like, bruh,
we're gonna have 3 centers. Hey, now technically we got 3 centers, because we got 2, and then we got the long snapper. Yeah, that's technically 3 centers. Let's see. I guess Alex talking about Kenyon Green said if he makes it to the second, I don't think he's gonna fall to the second round. Oh Lord. Okay, Devontae Gatlin here said, so what wide receiver do you think the Falcons should pick? I think Drew said Drake London.
Yep, I second that emotion.
Drake London.
I would say more so of the George Pickens.
I like George Pickens too.
I'll say George Pickens.
Christian Watson. He's similar to that. He's a big, fast guy as well. I just don't want no more teeny wide receivers. Period. If you below 6 feet, I don't want you.
Okay, so that means Sky Moore is out the deal then, because that's a lot of people like Sky Moore. Like, no, like nah.
Yeah. Like if you small and finesse, like no, we got that. We got that on this team. Like what we talked about last year. If you can't beat press man coverage, I don't want you.
Right.
So I mean, it's smaller guys that can beat press man coverage. Don't get me wrong, but if you small, you better play big. Right. Like you better be Steve Smith Sr., one of those guys. Like if you're gonna be little, you better be physical or you better play big. But if you just small and fast and quick, that don't work in the NFL. Just being small, fast, and quick, unless you're playing in some type of gimmicky offense. Like if you're playing for Andy Reid or somebody that's gonna draw up plays that play that kind of style, you find. But Arthur Smith he doesn't play that type of style. That's the reason why Calvin really struggled, is because we play the style of football that we're now playing on offense. It's not going to fit like a Tyreek Hill. If you put Tyreek Hill on the Falcons, they're going to tell him to run a slant route. Like, how much is that going to actually help him?
Exactly. He's used to running crossing routes, not slant.
You don't need to be fast to run a slant
routes. They run a lot of clear out routes in Kansas City. We don't do a lot of that.
But even though I will say George Pickens, I think the perfect wide receiver for this offense is neither one of those guys. I think David Bell is the perfect wide receiver for this offense, to be honest with you, because he specializes in those slants and digs that Arthur Smith liked to call. He specializes in them. But that's just my opinion. But anybody, like I said, like they said, anybody that's better than what we had last year. If you can beat the press, we good.
Right. And there's a lot of wide receivers in this draft. So you're not gonna really be able to go wrong.
Right.
I actually saw something in the kids last year that kind of excited me, is that when the Falcons had time to actually beat the press, he got open a lot. So with drafting a guy like a Drake London would actually open up the smaller receivers, and when you got those big body receivers already, they're already plus in the yak, because you remember we go back to Julio Jones. Who was that? It was always that one receiver. When Julio got loose, it was always that one receiver that laid down the block for him. Who was that receiver, guys?
Mohamed Sanu.
That new.
You got these big receivers. Those little guys like Zacchaeus can get open, and they can take that mug to the house. So for me, I'm in the bigger receivers, like Juice said. I don't want no more teeny tiny receivers no more. I want, if you're gonna get those teeny guys, get those guys in the 5th, 7th round, and go from there. But if I want what's best for this offense, gotta go big.
Right. And you definitely need wide receivers that have like a good catch radius too.
Right.
That's the one thing. Yeah, that's definitely what we need. But Champagne Bath here, and I think whatchamacallit asked the same. Devontae asked the same question. What round should we look at wide receiver?
There you go. I'll see Mike saying it for y'all.
That's that Prince. So yeah,
would you like some pancakes? He said, second round. You can get the best wide receiver available at that second round.
Offense isn't that. We don't need to be explosive with this offense. This is a ball control offense. So you don't need those big time, those speedy wide receivers. It's nice to have it, but that's a ball control. And that's what he said, the wide receivers with that catch radius. Because in this offense, it's not going to be a lot of separation, because most of these guys are bigger, and not everybody going to be a Kyle Pitts who is 6'6", 6'5", 6'6", who can run a 4.3, 4.4. You ain't gonna get that. So yeah, you gotta go. And plus that helps a lot of these quarterbacks who are not very accurate. It really helps them out. They can throw it in, and these big receivers can go get it.
Because I'm gonna tell y'all something too, and this is one thing we have to realize as well. Those receivers or those players that y'all say that we may say or y'all may say ain't good fits for this offense or good at any offense usually end up being superstars.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Like that. Let's just be honest. We don't know. At the end of the day, we still don't know. We can get Drake London and he could wet the damn bed for all I know.
Yep.
Like I said, the draft is a gamble. Like I said, especially when you're drafting skill players, that's a big gamble. That's why when you see a lot of those good teams, they always draft trench players because the trench players are the least
risk.
Yeah, the least risk. But the highest reward because now you're setting something that can be obtained for the next 6-7 years.
N'Keal Harry.
And it don't require too much athleticism, like we were talking about, K-Styles. When you playing in the phone booth like Jordan Davis, you only got to be quick for a short
right,
spurt.
Exactly.
Brady only got to be quick for a short second to get to the quarterback.
Exactly. That 40 time don't mean a damn thing for a defensive lineman.
Nah.
That 10-yard split means more to me than anything. He can get 10 yards. He can get to 10 yards in less than 2 seconds. We good.
Can you split a double team? Can you hold the point? That's all I need to know. Can you penetrate and cause pressure in the backfield? And that's when you got that type of strength like a Jordan Davis. Just by weight alone, as Mike talk about, just laying on somebody.
Bro, like I told y'all, Jordan Davis reminds me of John Henderson, and I'm gonna keep harping on that. That's all I need to know. That's all I need to know. If y'all watched football back in the early 2000s when Henderson and Stroud may have been the bigger name, but John Henderson was the guy. He was the dirty work guy, and he was the one doing it. It's just like Rodell Jamar here said, hey, we have to go defense first round. Yes, we on agreement to that. And Vlad here said that 10-yard split by Davis was insane.
He's been doing that. That's Jordan Davis to a T.
ATL Joe said, you know who isn't a gamble? Jordan Davis.
That's it. You know what he is.
Yeah.
All right, we got a couple more questions. We're gonna get a couple more questions. I think we might make this the last comment of the night. Sean RC McCann said, should the Falcons draft Bailey Zappe in the 4th round?
Nope.
I wouldn't.
I'm past.
I like Zappe, but I'm not touching the quarterback. I got to make sure I get the necessary pieces for this team before we start looking at.
Right. Cause if anybody follow me on Twitter, I did a mock draft. Would you like me to read this mock draft to you right quick while we go end the show like this? Let's read this mock draft. I want to hear what you guys think on this one. Jordan Davis. Thumbs up, thumbs down, thumbs up, thumbs down. Okay. I put Nick Bonito next. Okay. George Pickens.
Yeah, I don't know how you did that one, but I like it. I was like, how you pull that off? George Pickens, what else? Like the 58th pick, right?
Yeah.
Our second round pick. Okay.
Right.
Yeah, that's a steal if he's still there.
Brian Robinson Jr.
Yeah.
I don't know about him, so I don't
know. Tyreek Smith.
Okay, yeah, I know. That was good. That was a value pick. Sure. He the edge rusher from Ohio State, right?
State, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Darian Beavers.
I've been seeing his name, but is he a linebacker, K?
Yeah.
Okay. I haven't seen a lot of tape on him, so I got to be honest with the crowd. I don't know. I've been seeing his name in a lot of people's mock drafts, though. Him and Nick Bonito, I've been seeing a lot of.
Yeah.
Yeah, Beavers. He's kind of like he's a middle linebacker, but he's like he got the middle linebacker size at about 250, at like 6'5", 250. But yeah, Romeo Dobbs.
What
another wide receiver. Well, I want a whole another wide receiver.
Okay.
His name Romeo. I don't trust guys who name Romeo.
Oh, he got the best. He got the best hands in this draft, bro. I looked it up. He got the best hands in this draft. But I went Cade Mays.
Cade Mays,
the one that used to play at Georgia.
Yeah, that bitch. I'm sorry. No, hell
no. I went to Tennessee, man.
Man turned to a damn snitch. Trying to tell on everybody. Fuck it. Sorry, man.
And I went tight end with Daniel Bellinger.
Okay. Bellinger, that sounds I know that name. I know that.
I'll say this, Kay. I like the first 4 or 5 picks. Like the Pickens, that's a good pick. But Nick Bonito, that's a really good pick. Jordan Davis is a really good pick. From the ones that you said, all of those, like your first, I'll say the first like 4 or 5 rounds, I think are really good picks because you got value later on where I wasn't expecting certain guys, but you never know because last year we had guys like Azeez Ojulari that I didn't think was going to fall into the second round, and I wanted the Falcons to take. And I thought we were going to take him, but we ended up taking Richie Grant, who you guys know I was a fan of. But I think we still should have went Azeez Ojulari because he had, I think he had like 10 sacks, if I'm not mistaken, for the Giants. He led them in sacks. So I kind of wanted to talk about that, and that may be something we can talk about another day. It's like guys from last year's draft that I had on my draft board that the Falcons didn't take that I think we could have taken.
Yeah, we could do that, but I still got a bone to pick with the Buffalo Bills, though.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
They took my guy and your guy, man.
They took
Mike. They had me, man.
Y'all can go back to that draft show and see that shit. Boy, we looking like, ain't this about a bitch?
I think we all was hot about that one. He was on the draft board too.
I like how the hell one team take Mike's favorite player in the draft and they took one of my favorite players in the draft.
Boy, man.
And they both edge rushers.
Yeah.
Jude the only one that got to live and be like, oh, because the Falcons picked his favorite player in the draft.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Kyle Pitts, that made my day with them picking Kyle Pitts and Richie Grant. Both of those guys I was high on, but I wanted the edge rusher that went to Miami, out of Miami.
God damn, boy. I'm about to say, did Cade Mays, goddamn, is there a clan hood?
That man tried to take Georgia. That man tried to blame him for it. Man, that man was telling everything. They did this to me. They did that. That man was trying to.
I didn't know that.
Georgia. Yeah, he was trying to
know that.
Georgia,
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I didn't pay that no damn attention. Well, let me go ahead and scratch that off. Go ahead, scratch that off. We don't need punk bitches on the team.
Snitch. No, that man was telling everything, man.
That's my bad, y'all. I made a Dimitrov pick. That was my fault. That made a Dimitrov pick. All right, so if I could, I'm just gonna throw a name out there. Alec Lindstrom. We just gonna throw that name in that spot then.
I like that one. I like that.
Okay, we good. Okay, so everybody take Cade Mays out, put Alec Lindstrom in that spot. Now, do we get A pluses? Do we get B's or what? Because I think they came, but now a B.
B. I give you a B. Okay. I can't give you a B plus because you had Cade Mays in there. I gotta find you a little bit fast.
Like that Cade Mays made that thing go from an A to a B minus.
Oh boy.
Oh man. Oh, that's funny. See, I knew nothing about that. Well, I've heard that name before, but I ain't know it was.
Yeah,
I ain't know it was
that's what
ever.
it was.
Boy, I about to say, good Lord have mercy, boy. I about to say, damn, did I pick Tyrone Bigsby in this bitch or something? Because boy, ain't nobody liking that damn shit. But we're gonna go ahead and wind it down for the night, man. Y'all got to see the heavy hitters before the draft. Y'all gonna definitely see them during the draft, which will be next week. We're gonna go ahead and get our final takes for the night, final thoughts, plugs. So we're gonna start it off with the minister.
All right, so we want to thank y'all for tuning in tonight. As always, I always love getting up here with my bros, man. It's been a while since we did a heavy hitter show for you guys, so we wanted to give y'all a treat. But we definitely gonna have a lot more coming for you guys now that the NFL season is ramping up. You know, we went back to OTAs, voluntary workouts. Monday just started, so a lot going on. Like I said, the NFL draft coming next Thursday. But I just hope the Falcons take Jordan Davis, man. My fingers are crossed, but I'm nervous. I don't know. I really don't know. Now, one thing that I wouldn't be surprised if the Falcons were to trade back into the first round. That's something that I think the Falcons might do. Like if they don't go Jordan Davis in that first round or with that first pick, what I could see the Falcons doing is taking a wide receiver or taking an edge rusher and then packages some picks, because we got 2 second-round picks, 2 third-round picks. So maybe they can package some picks and try to go up and get an edge rusher and Jordan Davis. I'm just nervous because I think if the Ravens somehow, if he falls to like the Ravens or Philly, I could see, or New England. Those are the teams that make me nervous because they always take interior defensive linemen. So like if the Ravens, as a team that's already been talking about Jordan Davis, the Eagles, because they have Fletcher Cox, but he's getting up there in age and he signed a 1-year deal. So I can see those teams are really salivating over a Jordan Davis. So I hope the Falcons take him at 8 so we don't have to play that game of trading back up. But I could see the Falcons doing that. So don't be surprised if the Falcons package some of these picks, because it's not always about how many picks you have. It's about selecting the correct players.
Mm-hmm.
So don't be afraid if I'm Atlanta and it's a guy still on that board that you want, package some of them picks together and move up. It's not always about quantity. I want quality. As Mike say, get the best guys available. And that's just not at number 8. That if you got to trade up, do what you got to do, but get the best players. And I'll leave it at that.
Well, should I keep the Falcons?
What you got in mind, Mike? What you got in mind?
I want to say this real quick though. I know I've been harping on this quite some time, but what I saw yesterday in the NBA was just atrocious. And I'm not just saying because I'm a Hawks. And Jude laughing because he probably happy because never mind.
I'm not even happy.
I'm just messing with you, Jude. I'm messing with it.
You know how hot I was.
I know. That was the thing, man. Cleveland got a good young team. It was the complete opposite for them. Jared Allen wasn't necessarily 100%. He wasn't healthy. So it's the same thing that's happening right now. Their big man wasn't healthy, and our big man now isn't healthy. And Clint Capella, and you kind of see it, how it affects how aggressive Miami has been at penetrating. But that's not what upset me. Of course, look, the Hawks. I wouldn't. They deserve to lose. Okay, let's just keep it like that. Everybody's not playing to the potential, including Trey. But what I dislike, what I've seen is one thing that continues to bother me as far as the NBA in its entirety is that you have the refs deciding who they want to be aggressive, and it's the playoffs. You should allow these guys to play. Just allow them to play. When I see guys that literally diving at guys' knees, we got him grabbing people's arms, and he's doing it right in front of the refs. The refs see it. And then we got Chuck and Shaq. They don't even make mention of it. Everybody see it. You got all the NBA reporters on Twitter. They say it's good. Good gracious, these refs are awful. But Chuck and Shaq, they quiet as a church mouse. They never want to. They never want to respond to the refs being horrible. But you quick to downplay a lot of these players. Y'all quick to kill Russell for having bad games, but we don't want to criticize the refs. That's a problem for me. If we're going to criticize and threaten guys for playing bad, and again, what I saw from Russ, people threaten his family and all this stuff just because he's not playing at his potential, that's disgusting. So we're going to do that to the players. We need to do that, have that same energy for these refs. They were god awful, missing easy 35 free throws for the Heat, and the Hawks had 14. When you see that number, something clearly is wrong. That number you should never have dang near double digits. Come on. And we had like four of our starters. All those guys had 3 fouls in the second quarter. Before the second quarter was even over, everybody had 3 fouls. And then you get TLC, who's a bench player. He played 3 minutes, and this dude, soon he get in the game, he gets 2 fouls back to back. What like it takes away the aggressiveness and the fun away from the NBA when you see that. So it's just not fun to watch when we see that type. And like I said, this has nothing to do with just the Hawks. It's bad refereeing, and I just don't like to see it. I hate it. It's not basketball. It's not fair. So that's what I got. The refs got to get better, man. And the NBA, and I'm not even gonna say the NBA. Guys like Chuck, guys like Shaq, guys like Kendrick Perkins, y'all got to speak up against this trash, man. Like, it's absolute garbage when we see stuff like this still happening. And we up here talking about gambling and whether or not they're fixing games because of the new what you call it, I forget the name of that. It's on the tip of my tongue, but whatever the gambling sites are, the same one that Calvin Ridley got. So if you got these things going on, it really makes me think as a fan, like, what's really going on? Fans can bet on these games, and the more that fans bet on certain things, are y'all really leaning towards, getting the money, or you guys just, calling it fair? So I just wanted to be fair. That's all.
Yeah, because I remember they did say something. I remember somebody did say something about the jumping into the defender foul rule that was supposed to have been the new thing that didn't get called last night. But at the end of the day, you turn the ball over, you're going to lose the game.
Mm-hmm.
You miss shots, you're going to lose the game. They was close, but once they got close, this Miami just they really what nobody's talking about. The Heat just basically just playing old school basketball on them. I'm gonna punch you in the mouth, and I'm gonna see what you're gonna do about it. Hall still ain't out of it yet. We've seen this. Seen this last year. We seen this last year. So this ain't nothing new. But I'm gonna close it off with this. The bad guy era is officially going to begin next week.
Ooh, man.
Somebody's going to be mad at this first pick. Is it going to be the we want Malik Willis crowd that's going to be mad? Is it going to be the we want Ahmed Gardner crowd going to be mad? Is it going to be the we want Jordan Davis crowd going to be mad? Kyle Hamilton, Jermaine Johnson, vice versa, when they don't get their guy picked. Like we said, Terry Fontenot ain't shit, and we like that. We standing on that.
Mm-hmm.
He literally became the bad guy this year. Arthur Smith has already been the bad guy. He already looked like an asshole. He looked like you talk to him, he pop you in the mouth. But hey, people, draft next week. The future Falcons is here. You either on the train or you jump off. So until next time, we ain't here to play. We here to stay. You ain't got to go home.
But you got to get the heck up out of here.
Subscribe to everybody's channels. Mad Body Sports, Utah Sports, 6 Man K Styles. Deuces.